we go. And then that way, when we go around and introduce ourselves, then everybody in the world will. And actually, Mary Kay, I'm going to start with you. Okay. And then, so why don't we start with Mary Kay? You can, again, tell us who you are, and then we'll go around and introduce ourselves.
Mary Kay Ashley, Independent School District 191, Burnsville, Egan Savage. Worked there a really long time, really love it. Bivocational, so do two different things I really love. Pretty lucky person.
Wonderful, thank you. And the way we play this game is that we pick another person. So you can scroll over, you can see people's names, and you can pick somebody else to introduce themselves.
Oh, I'm going to pick Ellen because I know her, and I know Lori too. Cool. Ellen, why don't you talk next?
Thanks, Mary Kay, for the handoff. Speaking of handoff, I just handed off a parent to Mary Kay. And you know how fun that is when you have really a parent? Fun. Yeah, when you have a parent and they're like, well, I don't live in Northfield. What's the next step for me for my newborn? I'm like, you live in Burnsville? Hang on.
It was really fun to meet them this week.
Yeah, good. Really nice mama. So I'm really excited to hand her off to you. So anyway, I'm Ellen. I'm a parent educator in Northfield. I finished up my last class of the regular year today. So woo woo. If it wasn't noon, I might pour myself a glass of something celebratory. Thank you, Susan, for the little happy thing. I do still have a newborn class all summer. I do a couple of virtual visits with families. And of course, you know, all the big old stack of books that I want to read this summer. So anyway, but I'm done. You know what I mean? I'm done. Yeah. Sure. And I'll pass it off to Julia, who got new hair. Super fun new hair.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Julia Rhoda, and I'm an early childhood educator in 199, which is Inver Grove Heights. And I have been doing this for about 10 years, not all here, but about 10 years now. And I'll hand it off to Shelly.
So I'm Shelly, and I'm a parent ed in Inver Grove Heights with Julia. This is our team. And so this is my 4th year of doing this. So I will hand it off to Greta.
Hi, I'm Greta Nelson, and I'm on a Chromebook, so I apologize already. It might get choppy. I am a parent educator in Cambridge Isani School Districts, which is District 911. And yes, I heard you, Mary Kay. I have been doing this for a long time. And let's see, I also do screening. And so we are doing a lot of screening this summer, trying to catch up. And let's see, I do a baby class, and then we're doing a stroller class in the park again, because the parents loved that last year. So we're going to continue with the stroller class. And I'm going to Yuji.
Hi, I'm Yuji. This is the first year for my teaching as a parent educator. Actually, I'm creating a class and teaching it in Whitefish, Montana. There's no CFE here, so I am by myself, but I'm not alone. I have all the amazing parent educators in a PC Perfect Connection group supporting me. I'm so fortunate. So this summer, I still have 2 classes left for this year, but I will teach a summer class like for parent development, because I feel like at this time parents are the most vulnerable groups, and I want to help the parents focus on their self-development. This is my summer goal. So I will pass to Lorraine.
Hello, I'm Lorraine, and I am in Wilmer as a parent educator. And I think that I recognize Mary Kay from back in the day, because I did parent ed and ECFE from 88 to 94. And we had an Even Start family literacy program. And, you know, it was in the days of Betty Cook and Lois Engstrom and Glenn Palm. So you start to sometimes see familiar faces. Then I did 22 years of elementary teaching, and now I'm bookending it with the place that I love, back in parent ed. This summer, inspired by Perfect Connections, I am going to do a Monday evening Zoom call, an open parent chat from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. after bedtime. So, and just kind of going to structure it like this, where it's just a place that they can land and we can stay connected. But I'm curious, I saw a couple people put in the chat about Greta's stroller class, because there's families want to stay connected, but we also find that families like say they want a class, but then nobody signs up. And so, that it's that dance. So anyway, it's always fun to be here.
Lori, do you pick someone?
And let's see, how about Kelly?
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm up in Barnum and Cloquet, and this is my third year doing parent ed as a tier 1 person. So I am fired every year. So I have no summer work with parent education, just my boys. So let's see. Lori, have you gone yet? Okay.
Okay, I'm Lori Erstad, and I am 26, 27 years into parent education. I'm in Mankato, Minnesota, and I also am the coordinator for our Ready for Kindergarten program, which is a curriculum from Washington, Kennewick, Washington. Maybe you know about it, but we've incorporated that Ready for Kindergarten. It's a seasonal 3-class-a-year program, and I am in charge of delivery at corporate sites that have taken this on. Mayo Clinic and Taylor Corp pay their workers to leave work and come for a 2-hour discussion on parenting through the Ready for K programming. And it's very successful. And this program, they get a presentation from a facilitator, and then they go home with a kit. It's rather expensive, and these corporations pay for their parents as a employee benefit. And so I think Mayo, for the spring, we had 85 parents participate in the Ready for K. So I am the coordinator for that, along with parent education. I think I've got one more year left in me, and then I think I'm going to call it quits. But I'm just gunning it for this last year because I'm already working on bulletin boards for next year. And I just have to share with you all, and I'll try to get this in the link, but I did the word cloud, and can you see this? This is a word cloud that it is a mother holding a child. And I found this, I surveyed all my parents at the end and asked them what ECFE meant to them. And I found this in a word cloud. I've never seen this before on wordart.com. And then I had the district blow it up in poster size, and this will be my response. And it's just an awesome, and when I had it delivered to the office after being blown up, everybody, we're in a family learning center, everybody came over and said, oh, that is so effective. So I thought, okay, I got to show this to my Friday group, and you can all go on word cloud and use this as an activity or bulletin board with your parents. I'll put that in here so you know it. Oh, and then let's see who hasn't gone. Shelley?
I will go. I'm Shelley Doran. I am a parent educator with District 196, which is Apple Valley, Rosemount, and Egan. I will be teaching 4 ECFE classes this summer as well.
Cool. Thank you, everybody. I'm Bob the janitor. Just coming in to set things up for you. So I just added a word cloud. So from the survey that a lot of you had completed, if you included your email address, on the perfect connections thing. So I had asked, the first question was what it means to you. And so the word cloud doc that I just shared, I tried to put it in a nice shape as well, but somehow, and it's probably the programming. Anyway, everything ended up looking like a diamond. Or it was like with yours, Lori, like you could really tell that that's like a woman holding up a baby. Everyone that I put in, it would look like abstract art, and like, what was the purpose then? So anyway, but you can see it's like, I played around with getting rid of a few extraneous words, or when you capitalize, some things are capitalized and then they get that thrown over as a separate word. So anyway, but I loved it because it rose up and showed how supportive that this group was, and had little pop-ups of other words that are meaningful to us. So thank you for doing that. And thank you, Lori, for sharing that. That's fabulous. I didn't even know that, you could get a shape that was so cool like that. So.
And it was free.
Cool. Yes, that's another one of the wonderful things of the internet over time. Some of these things that were so complicated before. Well, hi, everybody. Again, welcome. Thank you all for sharing who you are and for being here today. I do have 2 questions that I want to raise. I'll bring up the first one. That's kind of an easier one. This is like a programming thing, and then save the other one. But is one of the things that and I want Greta, if you don't mind, some questions came up about how you do the stroller thing. And so I know that you've put some things in chat, but if you don't mind, I'd like to open it up for not for discussion, but for because we want to debate that stroller program. Now, that you can just like share it verbally, and then we can pop up with questions and that sort of thing. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
great. Okay.
Totally okay. So what we did.
Oh, go ahead.
This is probably my Chromebook, so I apologize right away. Let me see if I can get rid of a couple of things here. So we started this last year because of the need to be distanced. So I have put together, the description is, we want to walk together as parents and get to know each other and build connections and relationships. We just wanted all the children to be either in a stroller or a wagon so we can walk at an adult pace. So we go as far as we can, and then we stop, and then I do a few songs. We even did like leg lifts and squats and a little bit of stretching and reaching just for the moms and the grandmas. We had a lot of grandmas that came. And then we walk back, and I just have them form 2 lines and have them discuss something. And then every so many minutes, I have them switch. So one line moves forward to the next person, and the first person in the front of the line comes to the back. So we just could make some connections and get to know each other. So yeah, that's really simple. And it was effective and everyone loved it. So I do recommend though, if you're gonna go off trail, like off of a sidewalk or a paved trail, that you don't do that. I went through a big field that's out by our college, and they have it mowed down. And I thought, oh, we could walk through that. That's really cool. They could see the flowers and all the bugs and all that great stuff. But some moms didn't have the best strollers and they didn't have the best wagons. And so it was a little tricky, fun. And all of them mentioned it again. We shouldn't do that, Greta. So it was memorable, I guess. Like all adversity is a little memory, creates a little memory. So anyway, but that's it. I don't know if you guys have any questions about it, but is that it?
And then how long?
I put down for about an hour. So however that.
And then how many weeks?
We did it 3 weeks in coordination with our early childhood summer programming.
Okay.
Yep. Lorraine, you had a question?
I have a,
Oh.
Yeah, that it was like, was it a class that you sign up? Was it a just, I'll be here, whoever shows up? And so it sounds like it was 3 weeks and
They
they
signed
signed
up.
up.
Yeah. Yep.
hey Greta, did you do the, like the membership? Remember how you were talking about that? I feel like it was you that was talking about the ECFE membership. Is that you? No,
I'm trying to remember what, I'm not.
I don't
remembering
know.
that reference.
I was feeling, okay, maybe it was the beginning of this year. We were just trying to figure out about babies, like how we just want to have a continual throughout the year, like I just drop in whenever you want throughout the year. And we don't charge for babies, but our coordinator is
Oh.
thinking about charging for babies. So I feel like there was like a membership that they could do or something.
We did talk about that when we were trying to figure out how to do that. We never did it in Cambridge, but I
Okay.
remember it was an idea, like become a member of ECFE, like a YMCA. Is that what you're talking about?
I think so,
I
yeah,
think
but
that-
yeah.
You're brainstorming ideas. We never did it, but I still think it would be a possibility. I mean, you sign up for, yeah, you become a member of the ECFE outings or something, you could call it, or maybe it's the whole program. And then it's a monthly payment and then they can come when they can, that kind of a thing or something. Yeah, we talked about that. Wow, good memory. No, I never did it.
Okay, okay.
I wish we would have, because I wish I would have data to say whether it's something that would really work. Because I don't know. I think we talked about that we think that a lot of this generation likes memberships. Sign up and then you come when it's convenient and it works for you and not feel, yeah. And I think that would work with like outing classes or something like that, right? Something probably wouldn't be the greatest for our semester courses and things where you really want to build relationships during that time.
We were
But
thinking for like,
pop in play.
for pop-in plays or for like if I have like, because I did the baby massage certification. So like if we had baby massage just every week at a certain time, and then they could come when, if they could come, because babies are hard depending on, you know, what's happening in their body, you know, if they're sleeping or what, because we don't massage a sleeping baby and we don't massage a crying baby. So if they're doing that, then they wouldn't want to come, but it, you know, so that was just what we were thinking about.
I like that idea. What would be some other classes you could put into that category, like a massage time, a play time, a parent and me art time or something, or, you know, something,
Yeah.
music time or something like that. That would be kind of cool. Have for babies.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
We could have one for babies and one for older kids too. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ellen, what do you think? Come on, chime in, girl.
You're the innovator, you're the innovator.
Baby lady.
I always do with my baby class, every session I do like a handprint or a footprint art. So you could do that. You could bring, you know, those foam The ink pads will just have a little bit of ink on them. And that's really easy to clean. You can do paint, it's very messy. But those ink pads, they dry quickly. You bring some wipes with you, so you could do a little art in the park. So what I'll do is I'll do feet around Christmas, and I'll do mistletoes. So then I'll just like put a little bow on them. In the fall, I do hands. And then something new that I did this year, I got Sculpey clay, and I had them press their baby's fingers into the Sculpey clay. So those are all easy things that you could do on the go. But I really like this idea, and I think it would be kind of nice, for teachers who are off in the summer. Not gonna lie, I really enjoy it, like just a wide open summer for myself. But there are some of these things, like a 3-week stroller in the park might be really, really fun. And I think this is a really great way to serve some of those families that wouldn't normally get to attend, especially teachers.
There may be two, my technology brain is going. And that with the club versus class thing, there may be also this division between the free internet and, your school district's website or your school district's Facebook page or something like that, and versus what their membership gets them in terms of online access to, like if you had it, like Melissa Schmidt early on was talking about having her office hour, right? Or that drop-in time. Or if you had like the, baby yoga or baby, massage or something like that, and a parent can't make it, they're home with their baby, maybe that they can connect online and participate in the class. And, and so again, it's that, well, you want to make it worth their membership so that it's different than just, well, I can get that through social media, right? And so, but there's definitely a role, and with their being on phones and their own Chromebooks and things like that, I think there's a whole lot of parents that would prefer that level of flexibility.
The problem is, how do you count them for your program? Like we try to count everybody who comes, and if they come more than 3 times, then we try to make sure they fill out that form that you guys aren't filling out, but we are. So how do you?
Well, Ellen, I looked into that. We do all of that online when they do a registration for something. So you could have it part possibly of membership.
I don't think our school has that capability. We do our school, but I think they're going to start doing something.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to think of the logistics of doing a membership. Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know if that would.
Probably an administrator question.
Yeah, a big one for sure. Yeah, I'm not going to get too attached to it. Let's put it that way.
Well, I would think that couldn't you just enroll them in a class? Like, that's my thought. Like if they are choosing to be part of the membership, they're enrolled in that class. And
so essentially just calling it a membership.
Yeah.
But it's like a class behind the scenes.
Yeah, isn't it just a different classification of what you're signing up for?
Mm-hmm.
But they have to get something extra in order to make it like a bonus. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I know, but on the back end, what I'm saying is on the back end, it's just registering for a class.
Well, but Ellen, are you talking about like the bean counter side of things? Or are you talking about the parent benefit side of things? Because it seems like both you could resolve.
I just don't know that. Yeah, probably. I think it's just an administrative thing that I can't wrap my head around. Like money wise, counting wise, data wise,
Because I would think as an administrator, I mean, this sounds crass, but all you care about is that somebody has paid the fee.
Right.
That they have provided whatever necessary information, they have paid the fee for that membership. And just like at the Y, never cared that I never showed up. You know, so if I didn't get there to use their treadmills and that sort of thing, and yet they had people that would scan your card every time you came in. So I'm sure they had attendance records, you know, that they were matching it up with what money, you know, like who paid and then what kind of attendance, so that they could look at staffing and that sort of thing. And from the technology end of things, you know, again, and I think maybe this gets to the third level with your programming is analytics, you know, so that you're you know, maybe you can check every time they log in, so that you know that, you know, Susan Walker at gmail.com. And if I'm the person who has signed up, that you know that I've been present, you know. With Parentopia, we can do analytics, but we can only divide it by role. So we don't track individuals, but I could tell how many sessions, whatever percentage of sessions was by a parent versus a teacher.
One of the things we're doing in terms of outreach for birth to 3 is we're offering free baby playtimes and free toddler playtimes. And our coordinators set up a group of them and then we sent out 600 invitations along with a gift to kids who'd been born in Dakota and Scott counties in our district. We've so far gotten 9 responses, but once I figured out that she was willing to pay for me doing one-on-ones, it's kind of like a home visit in the office, but with all the toys. And so I can kind of set them up whenever I want. So if there are parents who say, well, I can't do any of those 8 times that were on the list, but I could do another time, I say, what other time? And let's see if we can figure it out. And people have emailed me at 10:45 at night, and I've responded, and they're like, I'm not that good, but I just happen to be a night owl. And so email me at 5:30 and it'll be till 9 before I get back to you. But that's if it's on a work day. But we're just trying to connect with people and start relationships so that we can get people in some classes.
Interesting. Yeah.
As it was saying in the chat, yeah, different programs, different, the sizes make a difference and all of that too. I totally agree. All of our baby things are free, including that stroller class. It's put out under more like an outreach, and the monies that are there for babies to get them involved. So like you said, Ellen, and as we were talking about the membership thing, maybe it wouldn't be for the babies, but maybe for the older kids, something like that. If you can't, I don't know. Yeah.
And I wonder too about the sort of listening to Mary Kay talk, is there's also that fine balance of, sort of like universal access, free services, and then, fee services, but that are accommodating to different parents' needs. And which is where this idea originally came from, was like the generosity of spirit of having flexibility for parents. And then, when I bring in about the internet, there's also that danger. And I've had conversations with some of you about like expectations from employers, just in terms of if a service that somebody gets is access to a parenting educator, and then they know that there's that sort of drop-in nature, or there's that as Mary Kay was saying, like that they could check in. There's also that needing to place the boundaries and being clear with administrators about my role ends here, or this is what my role is able to do in terms of, being responsive online for whatever level of services out there. I mean, I imagine that a lot of you do this in your classes anyway, as you're out there, like I do with my students, right? To be available for questions, but yet in a way that bounds your own sense of time and privacy.
Well, one of the things that works for me is they know I'm bivocational. So it may be 2 or 3 days before I get back to you because I'm working at my other job.
Yeah.
My school district has never employed me over half-time. So, and right now I'm working full-time somewhere else in point 2 in Burnsville. So I just said, hey, I don't think it's reasonable for me to work more than 2 days for point 2. So you can have all of Mondays and you can have all of Saturdays and that's it. And I do work in between, but because I'm not contracted in a way that I have like a regular salary. I'm paid by the hour. I have to write down everything I do. And so if I'm spending a half an hour to do research for a class, then I have to write that down on a time card. And it's a lot.
I think that's an unfortunate thing that I've coming back to ECFE after being away for 20 years is just that I thought that it would be different. I thought that after 20 years, my 20 years away, it had already been around for almost 20 years when I started, 15 years, I think. And it's just sad to me that it can be so different in each district. Every district has, it really seems like it's based on the philosophy of whomever was the first ECFE coordinator and those early administrators. And they set patterns and then they stuck. And Wilmer is not a big place, not necessarily progressive, but yet they've had full-time parent ed people since the 90s. And what you can do in a program when you have somebody who's full-time, who doesn't have to do like Mary Kay and write every contract and every minute and you can write grants, you can do more exploring, you can do some research, you can experiment, you can have a free baby class because you're there anyway. And if they show up, great. And if they don't, and I would love to wave that magic wand that I haven't found yet, so that every district had the option to have full-time parent ed, full-time early childhood, if that's what the program wanted to do. The other beauty is many professionals love the flexibility of having part-time work when you're raising your own kids. I think that's a beauty of ECFE. But I just wish there were more options.
Yeah, for the record, Lori, we've got, up until last year, we have had 3 full-time parent educators plus me. So it's a big program, but right now nobody's working full-time. Everyone is 0.8, or they're point something over 5, but I'm the only one under. And part of it was because I was pursuing work in another field, and to be honest, was maybe not considered to be someone who'd stay at this for very long. Yeah, underestimate me. So.
Oh, I'm not, okay. Can we switch a little bit? I've got a brief question, and then, so one thing that came up, one procedural question is about meeting times. and for the summer. And if we're going to continue at this time, or I'm kind of feeling, I don't know, if we do weekly, I might need to do every other week. I don't know. Anyway, so I think the main thing is if anybody has preferences for summer meeting times or frequency. And then the other thing, and this is why we do evaluations. This is why for any of you who took my 5946 class or are forced to do evaluations and you wonder why, because you get great ideas and you constantly improve. So something that came up in the little survey that I did about perfect connections was a suggestion about gathering topic ideas, and then maybe early in the week, and then having that sort of that we could draw from, or having topic ideas, and then like 1 week pull from the pool of ideas. And so we're making sure that we talk about them, and then other times have it be more free form or a little of both. And so my main question is logistics of how to collect topic ideas for conversation in this meeting. How would that be done? Do I do it through listserv? Do I do it through a little Google survey? I don't want to use Friends of Family Education because there are people who are in this that don't do Friends of Family Education and vice versa. So I don't know. Google form, yeah, to the listserv. And then is that just like a one-shot deal of when do I send that out? Or maybe Greta and Yuji can help.
I say send it out now and just say, hey, we're planning our summer and it's going to be casual, and make it if you can, and we're going to create topics. And I think it should just be come if you can. It's been this time forever. I don't know that changing it is a good idea time wise.
Okay.
Because there are going to be Fridays I can't make it.
Mhm.
And that it's just what it's going to be. But can you just leave it open any week, Susan? Like, can you just leave it open whether you're there or not? And then whoever, we're all grown-ups. We can. Yeah.
So if I wasn't here, you all would be, you usually start the meeting before I get here anyway. So, which is lovely.
I think that would be fine, because if the space is there, if anybody, even if it's just 2 people who show up.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
So the only thing would be recording to get the video.
You can record it. So if you record it to the cloud, you can just say recordings will come out later in the week. You don't have to post it the same day.
That's true.
But
yeah,
if you
I would access it. Yeah.
Yep. If you have it ready to go and accessible and recording to the cloud.
Yep.
Someone just has to hit record, I think, right? I'm not sure how you do that. If the host isn't there. You could make it so that participants could record.
Well, that's the thing. Then getting
somebody just
that would be fine if if whoever it is just uploads the MP4 file. That can be. So
I think of our core group that comes usually on a Friday, I think one of us could remember, oh yeah, Susan's not here. One of us needs to record.
Okay.
And we can remind each other too.
Okay.
Well,
if recording does get missed by a conversation by 2 or 3 people, maybe that's okay. You know what I mean?
You might need to put that in the chat, Greta. It didn't come through at all.
I love it. Look at that. It just said you might need to put that in the chakra.
That's what I said.
Can you hear me when I turn the mic or the camera off much better? Okay. So what I said was maybe if a conversation on a Friday is held by 2 or 3 people, it's not that critical that it gets recorded. Just, if we miss a couple in the summer, it's a little more casual, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. well, I'm fine. I don't care. I just want to, I want the group to just continue to be great and meet needs and all of that. Yeah, and then maybe in the fall, we'll just assess timing. I just know a lot, I've heard from a lot of educators that the Friday thing doesn't work for them because a lot of programs will plan meetings on Fridays. And, and then the other thing is it's always possible. I mean, I would love for there to be like perfect connection pop-ups, like other people facilitating all of this. And so people can benefit if they need to. And I've just organized way too much in my career. So I am so tired of being like that person. So if it happens organically, great. But so I'll turn to you guys to help make any kind of like, little clones, little perfect connection clones happen. And because we don't have the one, I guess my only little ownership, it's not even an ownership, but it's sort of like the community rules kind of thing where there is such a spirit of, what the little word cloud was in terms of safe space and open and flowing dialogue and caring for each other and respect and all of that I can't imagine, and maybe you can, like pop-ups that could end up sort of damaging the brand because somebody gets into a fight and then there's like, oh, well, in my group, this was like this. And so, there's a part of me that is like, for other little perfect connection pop-ups, here's the little set of community standards that we have gone by for the last year that are really common sense kinds of things, but we would just ask that if you're going to do it, that you keep to this, I don't know. So am I crazy for like, there's my leading question. That's like the worst way to ask an open question is leading with, I was right? You were stressed this year, right? So anyway. So we'll wrap this up just by, not our meeting, but I mean, just this topic by, is there anything anybody would like to say about sort of the continuation of Perfect Connections over the summer or into the fall, topics, pop-ups, anything like that?
It might be helpful if you share those agreements and expectations with anyone coming in. Since I'm new, I, want to make sure I haven't already messed up. And
well, we don't have them. They're just
make them. Mm-hmm.
They're just off. They just erupted from what I read. I did a little baby survey about a month ago as Perfect Connections celebrated its first year. And so from the 26 lovely responses that I got, this was, just what kind of floated up. So, I think it would be lovely for us to create those. But it's just one more thing. So how do you want to create them at some point? Not right now.
I think it's a great idea. There's a experiential learning activity, and remember in the positive parent, what is that? Have you guys taken that experiential learning training? The positive discipline one, or none of you have? Wow, there were 2 parent educators. They're still on the they're on the
Jane Nelson and Stephen.
So Jane Nelson wrote the book, but there's a whole binder. There was this experiential learning training by the E-Team. They used to advertise all the time on Friends and Family. They might not be doing it anymore. Oh gosh, what were their names? I can go find out. Okay, but never mind. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. I can try to find it, the lesson plan in the book. I just had to pack up my whole desk because they're moving our desks over 3 feet. So
Did they present, Ellen, at Menafee one year about the year that Katie started getting big too and doing a lot of stuff at the Capitol?
yes, they did. In fact, I think it was the same year. They did like 2 of the activities, but then they had a 2-day training And
Yeah.
I want to say I did it back in 2014 or 2015. It was a while ago.
Yeah,
But there is an
they're
activity.
good.
There is an activity about setting up ground rules.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then what's fun about it is once you've done it, then you could, the whole point, like you do it together as a group, and then you can, now that after you've done it at a group, then you can use it together. You can use it together with your parents. I might have a lesson plan on it.
Cool.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Did anything else come out from the survey? What else? I'll get back to you on that. I will summarize. It wasn't a lot. It was, talk amongst yourselves. I mean, it's all very, very positive. It was very, very positive. Oh, I know what was really meaningful was, and Lorraine, I'm going to call you out because you said this today, so you identified yourself, was the question about how it's affected your practice, and it was noted that there were certain activities and practices that were offered, especially through chat, and in our discussions, or like Ellen's mentioning, the experiential teaching, that resources shared during our Perfect Connections were really instrumental to folks who were here, that they were either immediately put into practice, or that they fit into work that they were doing, or, and again, with Lorraine's case, that even the format that we use here as a model that she wanted to adapt to use with her own parents. So there's sort of that, the pedagogical practice to it. So I would say there were some general themes around that being very useful. And then there were themes around the emotional supportive value of and then also that idea of having community. And so from the emotional, and I see those as being related but different. And so from the emotional support piece was, and we hear this from parents too, right? This is the place that I feel validated for my concerns, where I don't feel like I'm crazy for having this concern about, whatever's happening with teaching or something like that, or this emotional thing of, I feel more confident that I can teach the tough topics. And a couple of people singled out our conversations about race and equity, and very appreciative of those, and sort of that I can do this now because my colleagues are talking about it. They're offering me resources, and they're also being vulnerable with the challenges they've been facing, also doing these things. So there's that emotional support, and then that feeling of I have a community. And the one that was one of the comments that was especially meaningful was I found I had a community when I needed it the most. So this being a really tough year, and so it sort of the construction, and this was validating to me because I sort of offered this space for us to join because I was hearing different like calls in the wilderness through friends of my education. That was just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What are they making me do? I'm worried, and it was just like, well, let's just talk, right? So anyway, so the idea that the community was available, and then this idea to a felt community, that like this sustains me, that I know that I have a network. So even if I can't be present all the time, it's a cognitive thing. And I've been struggling to figure out what the right word is, because there is something in the literature that is this, but it's this knowledge that something exists that gives you a feeling of support. Like, even if you don't participate, it's almost like I feel better knowing that my community has parks and green spaces, even if I never leave my home, right? And so why do I feel better? Because it shows that there is an investment in nature and in the environment, and things like that. So that sense of community. Yeah. So those were, I think, the sort of resources, emotional support, right? And the sense of community.
So thinking about that, I love all that, Susan. When I think about it, I'm wondering if that needs to be put somewhere in what perfect connections means. I feel like when I read about perfect connections and what we have out there, it speaks those aspects. Would that be, I don't even, is that even accurate? So when you ask the question about going forward, would it be really valuable as the subline, the subtitle to the discussion groups? I don't know, that's a thought.
So I mean, would that like in the events when I post the event, like in Facebook?
Yeah, is that what it is? Ellen, you're shaking your head. There's some place where I go to see what does it say this group is about?
Okay.
It might have been in the events. I think as a subtitle.
Okay.
It would be just really nice to have it, what you said.
Well, that would be a really long subtitle. So you're
I was just gonna finish that sentence short formed.
So your creative exercise is to come up with the subtitle.
That sounds good. Shoot, I was referring, I was telling Mary Kay about the in the chat. I was telling her about, did somebody put a link about when Susan was talking about the resources, I said to Mary Kay that we have those online, and I was hoping to get her a quick link, but no, she's gone. Sorry. Interruption.
Oh, yeah. So if one of you could put the link to the Google Drive for the text. Usually should be on this because she did it for us last week. She got the right one. I put the wrong one down.
Way to go. There it is. See, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's our two creative exercises. One is perfect connections, and then some subtitle that conveys what we are, what we've done, or what, I don't know, whatever, right? And then
because I think we evolved, didn't we, a little bit? I mean, I think when we started, we were all like, how do I do technology? How do I run a camera? How do I get a microphone? How do I, right? All of that stuff, Ellen. Thank you, Ellen, so much. And Susan. And kind of evolved into something a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's like parent time for parent educators and early educators. It's like ECFE for
practitioners.
Yeah, it's really what it is.
I amen that. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay. All right. Good. I like it. And then the other thing is, if Ellen can share the experiential learning thing, we're running out of time, but that would be is that something we can do off the meeting time, like in a Padlet or something, or?
Well, first of all, the book is at work and in the bottom of a box, so I have to go locate it, which is fine. I can actually just buzz back to work today and dig it out, because I'm not planning on going into the building next week. I'm going to deep clean my house while my kids are still in school. But I can dig that up. No question, no problem about that.
Okay.
And
Great.
then what I'll do, I can just bring it to school next Friday.
Great. So we'll put that on the docket as an activity.
We can do that. It
Right.
might not be that exciting, guys. I honestly don't know. The other thing we can do is send it out. You can email it. I can respond all to the perfect group email, and we can see what it looks like. I honestly don't remember what is all on there. It might not be that great of an activity. I don't know.
After that buildup.
I know, but I did it a couple of years ago in a group, and it just took too much time for each group to make up their own guidelines. So if I was just like, I'm just going to make my own guidelines, that it might still be a good opportunity to try something new.
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. I agree with Greta. Thank you. And then the third thing that for another time, just for us to talk about is advocacy. And planted up the flagpole about your interest. Yuji, do you mind if I talk about this briefly?
Not at all. Thank you.
Okay. And so Yuji has a great sort of something that she started, which is to write a letter advocating for sort of a wider dissemination of ECFE. And it has always stunned me that ECFE hasn't gone outside the state of Minnesota. There are other models that are somewhat similar. There's the FAST program and that sort of thing, but not quite the same. Certainly no other states has a teacher's license for parenting education. And so if I believe that it again is experiential learning as an opportunity to, if you were promoting ECFE as a model that another state would adopt or that a government would adopt, right? What would you say? How would you convince policymakers that this is a model they should be taking seriously? And it can be a very practical project, so that letters come out of it and it can be used for advocacy. You know, Yuji can use it in her state. She could use it for advocacy in Montana. It can be a concept exercise where it gets your blood flowing to have, you know, for all of the yes buts, you are armed. You have the points. You know what, you know, you're going to say. It can be a felt experience of feeling better about a program when your colleagues all come together and speak to its value. So, it's something that we could do during our Perfect Connections time. It's something that we could do separate. I know that there are a number of people through Menafee and whatnot that are very, very interested in advocacy and have a lot of the tools that speak to ECFE's value kind of right there. So as we close out today, I just wanted to bring that up and see just what you thought of it. Look at you, she's so happy. So it also helps us not take things for granted. I think that the other thing, and I'll just as a coda, is Sarah Hardy's experience in Edina. And, and she shared out to Perfect Connections this week, sort of that result and kind of what happened with the teachers and the compensation for the teachers. And as was noted last week, it now sets a precedent, which is tremendously valuable for moving forward. So we have great examples of advocacy, and yeah, so.
I think this is where we need to collect stories. Like nothing is going to be more powerful than a story. So you guys do your exit interviews for parents who are leaving. This is where they feel super raw. And I feel like the best way to advocate and talk about this is to say, parents who've been supported, blah, 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 blah. Take, for instance, this mom who said, quote, that is the best way we are going to make impact, I think.
So I'm not going to yes, but Ellen.
Yes, but.
Right now. But this is exactly the kind of thing that in dialogue, I think would be healthy for us, because from a policy level, there's a whole lot of yes buts. I could say, and you could yes, but I could be the kind of person that would say, I have volumes of research over here about the value of childcare to, 3-year-old cognitive development, right? And you could yes, but me and say, but policymakers only consider a very small element of research data in their own policy decisions. And it's the advocacy of individuals and their constituents and the stories that are meaningful. And so I think from an advocacy standpoint, having a healthy critical discussion about what sells, what needs to be out there, what needs to go forward, and that kind of thing. I think that would be useful for us too.
I was gonna just say too, I feel like policymakers see money as they look at money. And so like thinking about $1 spent for early childhood education, what does that say for the future? Thinking that way, like looking more at that, when we spend $1 in early childhood education, we're saving $5 from blah, 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 or something like that too. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. See? So we could just have a field day. Would it be, would you like to have like a whole session just on advocacy someday? Again, this is like our topic thing of what topics do you want to cover, and then we could have an advocacy day, and then we could have another free flowing day or whatever. Yeah.
If we had a little bit of a schedule too in this regard, Susan, it would be helpful because we would be able to invite maybe our administrators on that day. Because I do feel that that's really, they have so much of that information. And as a parent educator, not in the administrative role.
Yeah.
I know that my administrator watches this when she can. And sometimes she does, and I don't know how often, but I would definitely invite her that day.
Good. Yeah. Yep. The bottom line is you want a productive conversation, right? And when we think of maybe our themes around emotional support and resource support, right, and sense of community, coming together in a policy day, is a kind of a resource thing. So we want to make sure that it's productive. Good. All right. We are over time. Anything else for the good of the company, as they would say?
I have one thing. If we were ever going to do any perfect connections what did you call it, that come off of this? What was your term?
Oh,
Susan?
the little pop-ups or the little
Pop-ups?
PC clones. Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing Julia here and knowing that there's others of us that do the early childhood component too, it would be kind of fun to have something for the rest of our ECFE staff as well, because I really highly regard and respect my teammates and need them.
Well, and then
I think that would be really cool.
I like that idea too. And then like to do one night focused on babies and toddlers, like my baby circle time. What could I put into it to make it better? Do you know what I mean? So it'd be really nice to kind of bend the ears of other people. So that'd be kind of fun.
Julia, would you ever see yourself? Because this has never been exclusive, but my slight fear is that over time, if people look at videos, they're going to go, oh, well, that's pretty much all they talk about is, So is it I don't know, is it better, Julia? Do you think, as our EC rep, that a separate thing is developed, or?
I don't know. I think maybe if it's about ideas, like if I'm looking for ideas about early childhood, but the reason I like coming to this is because I feel like our teams work really closely together. And so it's really helped me and be able to talk to them about different things that you guys have tried and things that we can we can try. And I feel like if it's separate, I might not find out about those type of things. But I think, I guess either one. It just depends on maybe just having the option to do either or both.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it just is something that I think it's great if it's organic and, I think it's always kind of the will and so if Julia or any of you, wanted to start, that's about my tension is as sort of starting something is I'm here every week is I don't want to get that sense of ownership that it can't go forward without my facilitation or my permission or my whatever. And because I've never viewed it that way. And so I hope you guys can help me through that tension and, have it keep continuing out there in early childhood clones or others or just larger or whatever. So.
And kind of to the point that about bringing in our administrators, having topics ahead of time would be even great invites for our teammates too that aren't coming, right? So it would be within the group, but also knowing ahead that we can bring the team in as a nice entry point, maybe, because we know the topic will be dual interests or something. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Great. All right, my friends. Well,
Happy Memorial Day weekend.
Great. Yes, happy Memorial Day.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Enjoy a long weekend, everyone.